Good evening, good evening, good evening, everybody. It is Hugo Quintanilla with Long and Foster. Good evening. Great to see you guys. Sorry I'm a little late. I wanted to get a little more information for this week. As you can see, we are going to be reviewing the top stories of the week in real estate. So I wanted to get it right more than anything else. I wanted to get a few citations and just get really clear on the facts before I brought it to you guys. I hope you're having a great weekend, by the way. If you were able to come out to the Winter Vintage Festival, thank you so much to the other vendors that came out and supported. That was so kind of you guys to come through. BIM Days, Yesterdays, and BIM Day Sports. Thank you so much for having me and letting me come through. It was always, as always, a pleasure to just come by and check out the events and be able to photograph and take pictures and say hi to the whole team. Guys, life is expensive. I just came from Old Navy and I was rushing home and I had so many intentions of buying so many things. I'm shocked. I'm shocked. And I see the discounts, I see the percentages and what people are offering, but it's not really a sale. And I come from a retail background, so I don't feel comfortable paying these prices. It's just too much. We'll see when the switchover happens, come like springtime or come like the season change, because we're ending the fall and we're going into winter, but fashion is 3 months ahead, whereas real estate is 3 months behind. And that's something that's very interesting about both industries, is that fashion is always moving forward, whereas real estate is always reacting to past metrics and what the numbers that we end up collecting over time. That's why you'll always see that most reports will be about 30 days old, because real estate does take time to shift and it does take about 30 days to process an average transaction. A fast transaction is about 15 days. So, yeah, we can talk one day about how different transactions close and that, but let's get into this week's top 10 stories. And it's just going to be a very brief overview. Oh, I did actually want to bring up to you some very nifty new tools that I have made available for the public. So I'm very excited about these. Let me share my screen and show you guys. So I'm pretty sure you won't be able to see my browser, my actual what how do you say my actual browser bar where I type in my URL. But the URL that you're gonna want to type in, and I'll show you the first one, is Montgomery County dot real estate. It's a home value estimator. And I've made it available to the public so that you can use it and you can just hop on there. Let me type it in. Real estate. You can just type it just like that right into your browser, and it will actually take you to the home value estimator. And you can use this and just type in a location, type in any information that you might have, and it will give you a report based on your property. You can use this to gauge more or less how much equity you have, and then of course talk to a real estate agent about how to get there. But this is a great tool to help you better understand how your individual market is doing. And don't be afraid if you're outside Montgomery County. Though the website says Montgomery County real estate, this website will help all of Maryland. So feel free and use it and let me know what you think. If there are any problems with it, let me know. I would definitely love the feedback. And thank you so much for asking me for a tool like this so that we can make it available. Another great tool that I want to make available to all of you is my new personal app. So I can now grant you private access to the MLS. And if you have any questions, or you want to see any properties, or you want to show me any properties, or have questions, or want me to dig in more information, it's super easy, super simple. It's along the lines of HomeSnap, and some of those companies like that, they used to be very popular come last year or the year before. It has tons of capabilities, so you don't need to sign up, but if you sign up, you get more features unlocked. Let me know again what you think. And yeah, that site is actually going to be located at Hugo Quintanilla Realtor, and I'll show you that site next. Realtor will take you to the private MLS access. It'll be a system very similar to mine. So when you go to, um, well, let me type it in so I can show you guys. Hugo Quintanilla Realtor. When you type it into the browser, it'll actually take you to this download page, and you'll have access to be able to download it on an Android device or on an iOS device. And it's free access to the MLS. It connects you right to me and all my information, so I can help you out directly and privately, off all social media, off of all emails. And it's just a system that where you and I can, a platform where you and I can converse about real estate and all the properties that are available, not just in the MLS system, but near you. You could be traveling and see a property. You can get more information on it. You can see property lines, and really, it's a very powerful tool that plugs you right into my MLS and my tools as a realtor to better help you out. So I'm super excited to grant you guys access to this. What you're gonna do is you're gonna go to this website, hugoquintanilla.realtor, and it'll open up, and you'll just touch either download on the app store, or get it on Google Play. And after you download the file and install it, install the app into your phone, you'll actually get that code right there. It'll still be in your browser. The app will open up, and it'll ask you for a code to log in. You'll use that code at the bottom, A2E50135, and it'll grant you access. Without that code, it will not let you get full access to all the features of the platform. After that, it will grant you even more features if you sign up and give some personal email information. But you can browse a lot of features on the platform already. Hopefully in the future, there'll be more updates to it. So I am very excited to let you guys know about that. But as of right now, this has been a huge leap forward in better serving you and giving you a clearer, easier way to view properties without going to Zillow and all these other places, and getting clear information from the source. Because, and I'm not sure if a lot of you are aware, Zillow, Realtor.com, some of these aggregates, these sites, they actually have the properties listed at a different timeline than we do. We get them real-time information as it's updated with an audit of changes made to most of these listings. We see everything. Whereas these aggregate sites, they post them on a periodic updated basis. So it could be every 3 hours for a busy market, every 2 hours, every 12. It varies depending on markets. I really couldn't speak too much on that. But guys, use this. If you have any questions, let me know. As always, my phone number is 240-389-4846. My email is hugo@lnf.com. And my own personal website, the one that I use every day, that one is yourrealtorhugo.com. And when you type that into the browser, it'll actually take you to my website. I try to make it as easy as possible for you so that you can remember these taglines and get these QR codes and just plug in as easy as you can with me. If you know of anyone that needs real estate advice or consultation, feel free and send them my information. I'm always happy to lend an ear and a helping hand, and at least try to give you some of my guidance in the best that I can, in the way that I can, with the resources that I can, because that's what I'm here to do, to help you. So enough about that, all those tools. Let's get back to the matter at hand. Thank you guys so much for watching that. And here is the news for the week. Big thing, just to start off right off the bat, is just the changes that we're seeing in the market. And this is another big story that I wanted to show you. I'm going to share this article um, as soon as the transmission's over. But this is another article that has been very big this week, and it's been circulating a lot. The top 10 real estate markets seeing the biggest changes, some hot and some cooling off. It's worth a read. I would definitely take the time and check that out if you can. But I will give you a summary of a few of the other top stories that have happened in the industry. The majority of these stories are on nar.realtor, the NAR, the National Association of Realtors public facing site. I like to go to that source to confirm a lot of the facts, but you can also find the majority of these articles on realtor.com, as well as I think I used USA Today and CNBC. So if you guys have any questions, let me know. So number one, more than anything else, home prices hit a fresh record in September. The S&P CoreLogic Case-Shiller National Home Pricing Index, which measures home prices across the nation, rose 3.9% from a year earlier in September. This is the highest increase since December 2018. So we're seeing uh, home prices across the nation rise by almost 4%. And that's from 5 years ago, because pre-pandemic. Number two, another second biggest story was new home sales drop in October to much lower levels than expected. The U.S. new home sales fell 5.6% to a seasonally adjusted annual rate of 679,000 in October, from a revised 719,000 in September, the government reported Monday. This is the lowest level since May 2020. Number three, home sales fell to a new 13-year low in October. Home sales fell in October to a fresh 13-year low as high interest rates and home prices continued to pummel the housing market. Sales of previous owned homes fell 4.3% from September to a seasonally adjusted annual rate of 5.3 million, the lowest level since August 2010. Something of key note there I wanted to show you was the actual number of sales versus the rate of sales, because there's another story later on that we'll talk about that talks about the rate of sales. So we're seeing home sales fall, but it's kind of counterbalancing, because we're still seeing in certain markets that the year over year is rising. So I believe one of the articles that made the cut is in here too, that speaks to that. Number four, U.S. housing starts rise unexpectedly for the second straight month. What they mean by U.S. housing starts are home builders, the new homes being built. Housing starts rose to a 1.7 million annual pace from 1.35 million in October, the government said Friday. This is the highest level since July 2020. So they're building faster, actually, which is kind of interesting. But as everyone will tell you, and really the biggest argument that you'll hear online and in media is that they are building, yes, but they're not building more affordable housing. What they're building is more expensive housing or lucrative housing. So it's very interesting to see. I'm very interested to see how the commercial sector is going to take on this need for residential, and what's going to happen there. We were on starts. Okay. Number five, U.S. home prices rose for the sixth month in a row, Case-Shiller says. Chicago led the nation in home price gains for the fourth month in a row, Case-Shiller says. The S&P CoreLogic Case-Shiller National Home Price Index, which measure home prices across the nation, rose again as we said earlier, 3.9% from a year earlier in September. So we're seeing prices still rise. US pending home sales. So houses that are under contract, and basically these people are not looking for a backup deal. They're good to go with the deal they have, and they're almost on the one-way ticket to close. US pending home sales stay near record lows despite modest pickup in September. As existing home sales will fall in existing home sales will fall in 2023 to the lowest rate since 2008. National Association of Realtors forecast pending home sales rose 0.2% in September, but remain near a record low. It still shocks me, and I wrote this, it still shocks me every time I read that, because it's existing home sales will fall in 2023 to the lowest rate since 2008. But we're talking about rate, pace at which we're selling properties. Kind of a different way of looking at it. So you always have to read behind the news story, and I think that's an article that if you do get the chance to read it, it's a really good read that kind of shows you how the numbers can be skewed depending on who you're talking. The rental market's downward slide. 5 straight months of falling rents. Rents continue to fall around the country as more rental units hit the market. However, there are still some places where they are climbing. The national average rent fell by 1.3% in October, the fifth straight month of declines. That's a large part to do because we have a lot of people in debt, a lot of people paying bills, a lot of people that are not making wages, a lot of people that have lost their jobs, a lot of people that have stopped looking for jobs and have started what's part of now being called the hustle economy and doing these side gigs and gig work, either selling or having another side hustle, Uber Eats, another 1099 business that makes them income that is not part of their normal 9 to 5. We're seeing a lot of people pick that up, and a lot of people that are just picking up cash only jobs as well. So it's going to be interesting to see how rents play out because we're still having the pending influx of Airbnbs that were mismanaged and poorly, taken care of. These could influx the system, but it also depends on where we're talking about. That's kind of more prevalent in the Midwest, not so much in these areas. So a lot of these national headlines, you got to take them with a grain of salt because when it comes to here in Montgomery County, we kind of live in a bubble in the sense that we have such a transient population that one has very good employment, and two, there's steady work. There are tons of opportunities in this area every day for jobs. So something to look at. Home sales slide to lowest pace since 2010 as home rates squeeze market. This is again talking about the pace in the rate at which we're selling properties. Not so much, that properties are not selling. It's just, we're selling them a lot slower because we're seeing a slowdown of where the market is okay paying these prices. We have a lot of properties that are overpriced on the market that are sitting, staling, and then we don't have a buyer that can meet that price right now. So it becomes very difficult to get to that point of meeting where the price and the person can have that leeway. So something to keep in mind when you're listing your property is that the this more than anything else it has to be a meeting of the minds when it comes to actually selling your home. And when it comes to buying your home, really, you shouldn't overspend your budget. You should have a clear set budget and a number, and don't overshoot it because you don't want to be kicking yourself in the foot for the rest of your life because you got yourself into a bad deal. I know sometimes there are properties that you wish you would have gone harder on that property, but I'm a firm believer everything happens for a reason. So within reason, you got to take advantage of the season and be smart about your choices. Do what you can with what you have. If you don't have enough, save and try to do more later. But be mindful that things don't get cheaper. You just are more able to afford these things. So knowing the cost, knowing how much it takes to play the game and get involved in real estate is super important, because that way you have honest expectations of what it takes. Yes, properties are expensive, but look, you're seeing renters paying hand over fist for some properties. You're having people selling their houses for top dollar. Yes, the news stories are doom and gloom, but they're supposed to sell clicks. If they told you all the good news, people wouldn't be all that inclined to check it out, because it's everybody loves happy news. Happy news spreads very quickly, but doom and gloom it lingers. And like this, the worst headline I see here is that we're selling properties less fast. We're still selling them for 4% more. Builders are actually making more properties. That's why I wanted to really do this recap of the week's stories, because not every story is true to the words that are behind it. And when you go a little bit further down into the story, a little bit of digestion goes a long way. So, yeah, read your articles, people. Home sales slide to lowest pace since 2010 as home rates squeeze market. Home sales fell in September to the lowest rate in 13 years, showing the corner of the economy most weakened by home interest rates remains in decline. Sales of previously owned homes fell 3.6 from August to a seasonally adjusted annual rate of 5.4 million, the lowest level since November 2010. Again, another take, but it's moving the time frame a little bit further back from 2008, like NAR said, to 2010. U.S. home starts rebound in September after a sharp drop in prior months. Constructions of new U.S. homes rebound 7% in September to an annual pace of 1.36 million units after a sharp 1.5% drop in the prior month. This is the highest level since June of 2020. And last but not least, the most popular real estate related news story of the week was mortgage rates marched towards 8%, pushing demand to the lowest level in 27 years. Mortgage demand dropped to the lowest level since 1996 as rates surged across the board due to a recent jump in the treasury yields. The average rate of a 30-year fixed rate mortgage rose to 8.1 in October, the lowest level since 1994. But as we were going into the weekend, we were hearing stories of interest rates starting to come down and starting to go below 7%. So we're hopeful that come the next few months, and interest rates are one of these things that fluctuates wildly. If you can't lock it in, you gotta try, because you'll be a peace of mind if you can lock them in. But any rate that changes, it's really difficult to make sure that you get a good number, especially in this market right now as things are changing so fast. You want to make sure you're getting a decent number, and I think that locking in your rate is probably about the only way that you could do that. So again, this has just been a brief overview of some of the top news stories of the week. If you have any questions, feel free and reach out. Leave the comments down below. Let me know. I am your realtor, Hugo.com. Hugo Quintanilla. And I work with Logan Foster, North Potomac, Rockville. My phone number is 240-389-4846. And my email is hugo@lnf.com. I invite you all to please check out the weekly stories online and see what you think. Let me know what you think about some of these stories. And I will see you guys next week with probably 10 more stories about the week, and with hopefully some more kind of cool little tools that I can share with you. Please do me a favor and don't forget to check out Montgomery County Real Estate for your home value estimator, and go and check out Hugo Quintanilla Realtor for your private MLS access. It's no obligation. You can look around, see what houses are available. You don't need to buy a home right now, but you can have access to the system. And so when you need it, you'll always have information from a professional. And of course, my website, yourrealtorhugo.com. Thank you so much for watching, guys. I appreciate you so much. Have a very blessed evening. Enjoy your weekend, and I will see you tomorrow. Have a great day.